Welcome, guys. So today we're going to understand what AI agents are in the most simplest of terms. And so get ready as we begin. So what are AI agents? So I'm going to try and explain AI agents in very simple terms that any of you would be able to understand, so that as we go on to build agents in future, we will have a very good solid foundation and an understanding of what AI agents are. So if I'm to define for you in the simplest terms what AI agents are, I would, a minute. So to me, an AI agent is like a super employee, an employee who is perfect in their execution. They have perfect memory, are available 24/7, and are very cost. They're not that costly to maintain or to get their services, as opposed to maybe a human being, whereby sometimes they're not available based on working hours, and then they're also expensive in terms of you need to cater for their, of course, their wage. You also have to cater for their medical expenses through the schemes that companies provide. But you see, now if you adopt an AI agent, basically a digital employee, these are things that you don't have to worry because they never get sick. They're always available 24/7, and they're if instructions, if they're programmed well, they are able to deliver and execute processes flawlessly without encountering any errors or challenges. So you can bet on it to really provide the needed information. So why is it a good opportunity for companies to adopt AI? Uh, it's a golden opportunity because currently a lot of companies are really trying to leverage AI to understand how AI can be of great importance to them, to their businesses, so that they can uh, scale their operations, they can optimize their operation, they can cut costs and eventually increase their revenue. So as you can see from this chart, you realize that companies are investing billions and billions in AI. If you look at 2025, you can see that currently there's an estimate of around $7.57 billion that has been invested by companies in AI. And there's a projection that by the year 2033, companies would have invested around $139 billion to actually try and leverage AI in their businesses to optimize, cut costs, and increase their profits. So basically, for you to understand how AI works, we have to look at the traditional way of doing things. For instance, if we are going to take, for example, a very simple example of a customer service attendant, someone who wants to check in the morning to the office, and the first thing they do is they go through the company emails, they look at the people who have sent in emails, and then they respond to those emails one by one. So basically what happens is they get this email, they read the email, they digest it, and then they find the best way possible to respond to that email. Of course, there's a lot that goes into it. Reading the email, proofreading the email, and with the current age of large language models like OpenAI, Gemini, Claude, and even Grok, nowadays these employees are getting more smart. They're pasting, for example, you paste the email to ChatGPT, for instance, and then you ask it to give you a proper response. Then now you'll have to undergo the process of trying to proofread it, and then of course copying it from ChatGPT and then pasting it onto the draft before finally sending the response. You realize that doing this for an organization that gets a lot of emails is time consuming, and it means that that customer service attendant could only serve a purpose of responding to emails and nothing further. But if you adopt AI, it will ease the time for this employee, and this employee can be deployed to somebody to do other areas, other tasks of the company. So basically, with adopting AI means you are removing the need for human intervention in terms of, for example, responding to emails. These are very repetitive tasks that can be automated, and thanks to the presence of AI agents, these tasks are able to be automated so that that customer service agent could be deployed to do something else productive for the company, and the company could realize a lot of optimization, cut costs in some areas, even in terms of time, because time actually is money. So this is an analogy that I found that could explain how things work. For example, if you look at a human employee has to go through these tools. For example, if there's a communication on Slack that comes to customer service, then customer service maybe relay that communication to maybe the marketing team, the sales and marketing team, so that they can go through that information and maybe call a prospect. Human employee has to, when he or she receives information, maybe on an email or something, he has to feed it on ChatGPT, for example, OpenAI, for ChatGPT, Claude, and the other large language models, and then proofread it, then copy it, then do the process, if it's sending, if it's preparing a report, and so on and so forth. They have to do also the same for LinkedIn and the email, like I've said. But you see now, if you have an AI agent that has been well developed, it will be doing these things without even the intervention of a human employee. So that's why we term these AI agents as digital employees. For example, like the case that we were talking about, the email, this assistant, customer service assistant, now AI, will take in the email because it's been fed on a good prompt that relies on the memory of large language model, for instance, for Gemini. It now reads the email and then process the information, think through it, and find the best possible way to respond to that email based on the prompt that was given. Because if you are preparing a customer service AI agent, you need to tell that person there are things that you need to consider. You need to define the role for them. You need to tell them the kind of temperance they are going to adopt. For example, tell them that you are a very cautious, courteous, blah blah blah, and so forth and so forth. When you define these things correctly, the agent will be able to respond promptly. Even the agents go to an extent whereby if you create an agent that can read through documents using OCR, it's able to extract data from those documents and then relay the same data to Google Sheets and create and fill in the necessary columns in a row. That's why I'm telling you, the future is AI, and if you are not leveraging it, you better do it, because don't be left behind, because the world is moving, businesses are moving. Should be among the people that are early adopters of AI. With that said and done, this is a small analogy of how things work. There's an input process which is a trigger. For example, a trigger could be an incoming email, and then now when the email fires, there are actions and processes that take place, and then there's an output, which, for example, for an email setup culminates to maybe issuing a response to that email. And maybe if you're extracting, for example, the case I was giving you of an OCR, using AI agents to extract data, for example, from an invoice, it will pick those information from the invoice precisely and maybe load those information as the output in an Excel sheet. It could be Notion, it could be Airtable, it could be Google Drive, and so on and so forth. And that's the beauty of doing automation. So basically, why would a company, or why would you as an individual or a large entity wanna adopt AI? Why does it matter for you? So AI boosts efficiency, it cuts costs, it allows you to grow smarter as a company. It's scalability. You can scale a lot of things without requiring any employees. You can scale your process as a company without requiring any employees, because if you adopt these agents, they're going to do whatever the employees could be doing. AI agents adapt as your business evolves, so you can modify the agents to adapt as the business grows. And the beauty about it, once you've trained with the material from the company, It doesn't require the cost of maybe hiring and training employees, This AI also has the decision-making ability, can make decisions using the brain. You can build them easily. Nowadays, they are available. They are low-code or no-code solutions. And just to wrap it up, AI agents are the workforce for the future. So if you are still relying on gravitating, I understand human beings are good. They have emotions. They can maybe make good judgments sometimes, but there are areas that actually even you and I agree that agents would be the best solution going into the future. So basically, maybe you are wondering which areas can benefit from AI agents. First of all, like I've said, marketing. If you are doing cold outreach, that's the best place to adopt AI agents. Content creation, nowadays there are even, for example, contents that are posted on TikTok that has no human interface. The process triggers itself through AI automation. It creates the post based on the prompt that has been given, and then it even posts that post on TikTok without nothing, no human intervention. If you're scraping leads, maybe from companies that you want to reach out for businesses, AI agents will do that for you. If you're qualifying the leads that you've received, AI agents will do that for you. And even several other follow-ups, you can delegate that to the AI. We have the onboarding processes like gathering prospect information. If you're looking at a company, for example, and trying to understand if they are a good fit for you to do business with, you can use AI agents to scrape through their website and then gather information about that company and then give you in a summary form. And then it can even the funny thing is that even you can even set up an AI that will now call them, pick the number from the website, call them, and then maybe schedule a meeting, summarize the call, and then also provide that call to maybe the marketing team, the sales team, and so on and so forth. Like we've talked about the case of emails, dispatching emails can be done by AI agents, even verifying documents during onboarding process by use of tools like OCR. That's a good match to use actually to onboard. Customer support, like I told you, getting feedbacks, enhancing client relationships, handling client reports, and so on and so forth is an area that also can maybe benefit from AI agents. Project management is another area whereby you use it to schedule meetings, update databases, track performances, upload documents, and several other areas. The list is wide. If you can imagine anything with AI agents, you can build it. So I encourage you to find a way in your businesses. If you don't know how you can leverage AI in your businesses, we are here at Mooseloon AI. We can scope your business by understanding the process that you undertake and advise you on the areas that you can adopt AI and also build agents for you that would solve these processes. So thank you. If you're interested in this information, I ask you to subscribe to our channel, hit that notification bell, like it, and stay on the loop so that you'll be able to get the videos as we release them. Thank you.